Hey there, it's Trace, and today I'm going to show you how to write and run Java programs on your computer without any special software or anything. So the first step to this is to actually make sure Java is installed on the computer. Most new systems, Java does come installed with, with whatever operating system you're using. But just in case it's not, it's very easy to install, and we want to make sure we have that before we try to write and run Java. So what we're going to do is we're going to open a command prompt. To do this on Windows, we're going to hit Windows button and R at the same time to bring up this run box, and then we're going to type CMD, and that'll bring up the terminal. You can also just open this start menu with the Windows button and type command prompt, and then click on that to open it up. That'll also open it up just fine. Once we're in here, we're going to type Java and then dash version. So Java space dash version. That'll bring up the information on the version of Java that we are running. You can see I'm running a version of 1.8. If instead of saying this information about Java that's installed on your computer, it says something like Java command unrecognized or something along those lines, that means that Java is not installed on your computer. To install Java on your computer, you're just going to want to grab the JDK from online. That's the Java Development Kit. Let me show you where to get that. We're going to open up a tab in the internet here, and we're just going to type JDK. The first ones that come up for me are the Oracle Technology Network. This is where you're going to want to go to get it. Oracle is the business behind Java, I suppose you could say. That is legitimate stuff. Once you're on the Oracle website here, we're on the JDK 8 downloads page. You can download the specific one for your operating system and install it. There's plenty of tutorials and information out there on downloading and installing Java on your computer. It's a very simple process. You basically just download it and click a few buttons, and you should be good to go on that. But like I said, most systems do come with Java already installed, so you shouldn't need to do this. If you do, it's very simple, should not be an issue. Now we can move on to actually writing our first Java program, and then moving on to compiling and then running that program. It's important to note that there are three steps really. You write your source code, you compile your source code, and then you run that code that has been compiled. Let's start by writing it. I'm going to use Notepad because that comes pre-installed with Windows. You can use any text editor that comes pre-installed on your computer. I'm not really sure what it is on Mac. I know most Linux distributions have either Gedit or Mousepad installed on them. Any of these will work. We're going to write our first program, just a very simple one that's just going to output hello world to the screen. If you're very new to Java and you're not familiar with any of this code, don't know what it does, don't worry, it's very simple, and I will also copy and paste this code into the description of this video so that you can just copy and paste it in the Notepad and you won't have to write it on your own, just to make sure that you're able to kind of go through the process of writing, compiling, and running code without actually having to go through the hassle of learning all this to write it right away. So the gist of it is the class and the method aren't really that important. The only thing in this program that's going to do anything is this line, System.out.println, and that's just a print statement. So whatever we put in here inside these quotations is going to print out to the terminal when we run our program. So we're just going to put in hello world. That's a pretty common first program for individuals to write. Let's save this now. This is a very important step. We're going to save this to our desktop. In my case, I select save it to the desktop. It's right there, easy to access. And it's important that we name this file the same thing as our class is named. You can see I named it here main. So we're going to name it main, and then the extension is going to be .java. So main.java. Now here's the important part. Most of these very basic text editors are going to want to save it as .text by default. You can see my save as type is set to text documents .text. We're going to want to change that to all files so that it will use the .java extension we've given it here. We're going to save that, and then if we go into our File Explorer, we're going to see in our desktop that it actually has saved here, right in our desktop where we saved it. To be expected, I suppose. So now that we have that saved, we can move on to compiling it and running it. To do so, let's click on File and then Open Windows PowerShell. That's going to open a PowerShell window that's already directed to this file, to our desktop. You can see it's users, the username, and then desktop, because that's where we opened it from on here. You need to do this in either PowerShell or the command prompt. Either will work. If you want to do this through the command prompt, the commands are literally the same as PowerShell. It's going to be the same exact commands that I enter. And I'll show you how to access the desktop from your command prompt. We're going to press Windows button and R again to open this run window, and then CMD to open our command prompt. And you'll see it's directed by default to users and then the username, but we need to get to desktop. To do that, we're going to type CD. CD stands for change directory, and then desktop. And now you see it's users, the username, and desktop. It's pointed at the same thing as our PowerShell window. Like I said, the commands will be exactly the same, so I'm only going to show you in PowerShell because it's very easy to just go to whichever folder you need, File, open PowerShell window. But if you want to do it in command prompt, you certainly can. Now, at this point, as we went over earlier, you should have Java installed. So if we type Java version, or Java-version, it will bring up that information. You can see Java's installed, we're good to go. So let's move on to compiling this code. To compile code, you're going to type Java C, so the Java compiler, and then the file name that you want to compile. In this case, Main.java, as you can see, is the name of our file. When we run this, it's actually not going to really do anything. It's just going to kind of spit out another blank line like it didn't do anything. You might be confused at first and think, I wonder if this actually ran, but trust me, it did. If it's just blank and not spitting anything out, that's actually a good sign. It means that the compiler didn't run into any errors while it was compiling your code. So there's nothing that you have to fix. It's been compiled successfully. To verify this, we can go back to our desktop and we can see here's our main.java file, and oh, it's made a main.class file as well. That's what the compiler took in this file and spit out. So it basically made this file from the main.java file. To then run our program, we're going to type Java and then main. The reason we don't type .java on the end is because we're now running this file, and the syntax for it is to just type the name of the class that you're running. So it's going to be Java main in this case. And if we run that, you'll see it prints out hello world, just like we told it to when we wrote our program. Now, there are a few interesting details I want to go over. One is that when you edit your code here, let's say we give it an error. If we take away one of these parentheses right here, that's going to cause a syntax error. If we just run our file again, our compiled file, main, Java main, it still works, which is odd because our code's now invalid. The reason for this is because although we've changed this file, our source code, we haven't changed the compiled file yet, which is actually the one that's running. So if we try to compile this now, Java C, main.java, it actually puts out errors now. You'll see it's not blank like it was before. It's putting out an error about line 3, which is our system line, saying it can't compile because there's an error with that statement. If we fix this and try to compile it again, now it works again. We've compiled successfully and we can run our file. So this is how you write, compile, and execute programs in Java on your Windows computer. Although the steps are very similar for Linux or Macs. It's just going to be in the terminal instead of the command prompt, and likely a different text editor if you don't have Notepad on those operating systems. So it's very simple to do. One other thing I'd like to point out is if you run into issues with this, a lot of times entering just commands, like let's say you're trying to use Java C to compile your program, but you forget what you have to put after it. You can just put Java C and it'll tell you the usage, Java C, options, and then source files. We didn't use any options when we were compiling, but you certainly can if you know which one you need to use, usually for special stuff. But it's very simple, you just type Java C and the file name to compile that, and then Java and the file name without .java to run it. So it is very simple to do this. That's really about it, it really is just a super simple process. You can start writing code on almost any computer, just has the stuff that you need already installed for Java. So it's very simple, very easy to use. If you have any questions or anything that you'd like me to go through and show you, I would love to help out. Please do leave them in the comments section below so that I can help you. Like I said, I will paste this simple program into the description of this video if you'd like to copy that while you're doing this process yourself. And I do hope that these things will help you out, and I hope that you have a great day.